It is Thursday, May 8th, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Rob, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. Look at you. You're excited. You got a big golf match today. You're flipping your pen or pencil or whatever it is. You're especially spry.
I am excited. Thursdays are like my lightest day of work. We do our show and then, I try to go do something on Thursdays, and today it happens to be golf. I don't really get to play too much, although I did go to the driving range yesterday, so I'm feeling pretty good about my chances today.
Ah, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. You start feeling good about yourself, and then all of a sudden, you know what's going to happen. Like you're going to go par, par, and then you're going to start feeling great, and then all of a sudden you're going to go double, and you're like, "Damn it, this game sucks."
Why are you saying this right now?
Oh
Let me
no,
let me
just
have
remember it.
optimism. Honestly, a long time ago, I learned to not take golf seriously
Yeah,
because it's so much of a time commitment that I do not commit time to it. So, like, I can't expect to be out there and just, like, shooting in the low 70s. I can't.
got it, got it.
I have fun,
Understand.
Chris.
Tip of the cap to the Toronto Blue Jays. A lot of them are going to be featured on this weekend's edition of Dugout Discussions. Got to check in with Max Scherzer, whom I've known forever. Hopefully, he'll be back at some point. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is our main interview. I'd never met Vlad in person, and what a sweet kid. I mean, he's got that great smile. Obviously, he's got a lot of reasons to
It's got a lot
smile.
of reasons to be happy.
Yes, he does, but he is a star in this business that just he oozes enthusiasm. Like I mentioned, he's just one of the guys. You know, some dudes get to that star status and they're not one of the dudes anymore. He is.
Name 'em.
Not naming him,
Okay.
not naming. You know that happens.
There are some guys that are I'll tell you this, in Major League Baseball, uh, 97% of the dudes are awesome
Yes,
because it's just a grind, you fail so much, like, it really creates, like, just I think good dudes, and then, yeah, there's, like, 3% that are just think they're cool.
he is not in that 3%. I can tell you that. So check out the newest episode of Dugout Discussions this Sunday. It'll be released at 2 o'clock Eastern. It is a Mother's Day special. We got guys. There's some great stories. Really, really good stuff. I got a one from George Springer yesterday that was hilarious. He had me laughing. He was great. He was great. All right, we're going to start it with the team whose hat I am wearing today. That would be the Seattle Mariners. They just keep stacking series. You can make it 9 straight after erasing a 5-0 deficit in Sacramento.
Into the gap in right center field. The Mariners have taken an 8th-inning lead. Dylan Moore delivers. Tavares scores, and the Mariners are in front 6-5.
Yeah, Dylan Moore, who just came back from injury, and then Munoz comes down, slams the door shut. He still hasn't given up a run. Jeez, he
It's
has
a fun
been.
series going on up there.
Yeah, that was a great series to watch. A lot of drama, a lot of big moments. I do hope that the Athletics are allowed to stick around, and I hope that nobody got offended with the Athletics organization that I did say that the game happened in Sacramento. I think we're supposed to never ever say where they play their home games.
Well, it's West Sacramento,
Sorry,
Chris.
West Sacramento.
Sheesh.
Sorry. Um, okay, whatever. Should we be more surprised that Seattle's offense has delivered this kind of performance so far in 2025, or more surprised that they were never able to get it going before this year?
I wanna talk glowingly about the transformation, but I think I'm actually more surprised that it did take this long, but then again, like, they were a 3 true outcome team for quite some time, and that was what teams were trying to do, for I don't know, how long do you think that was a thing? Probably, like, a good, like, 7 years, 7 or 8 years. It was 3 true outcomes. Let's go hit the homer, let's go slug, let's go do all these things. And then, over the last couple of years, we've seen teams go back to let's put the ball in play. I like mentioned this last year about the defense getting so bad that's why I like people bunting. We're seeing more bunting this year because people have realized that. But Seattle, man, I have some statistics from August 1st of last year is kind of when they started turning it around.
Mhm.
Chris, do you remember like they were the strikeout kings All
Yes,
we
they
ever used
were.
to talk about was Seattle Mariners, and it was just that. They are second in baseball in walk percentage since August 1st last year, trailing only the New York Yankees. And you can go up and down these stats. On base percentage, they're third or fourth in all of baseball since August 1st last year. Slugging percentage, they're 11th. Average, like you just keep going on, and they've just improved so much. And they've done that because they've the quality of the bats have gotten better. The plate discipline has been better. They're putting the ball in play. They're actively trying to not strike out. And like that seems like the silliest thing to say. But once you start adopting that mentality of like, hey, I'm going to grind these at bats out, especially in like I think today's game, I mean, you're going to see an improvement. And that's what we've seen from the Mariners. It's been so fun, and we've been asking for quite some time. That's why I say I'm more surprised it didn't happen earlier. But some new personnel and just a new team identity, I guess, it's changed everything for them.
Well, I mentioned that they've won 9 straight series overall. The last time this franchise did that was 2001 when they won 116 regular season games, and they were on the precipice of making the World Series for the first time ever. That obviously still hasn't happened. They do have a bunch of guys that feel like they should have been better ball players at this point, or guys that have done it elsewhere, and then they just get up to Seattle. And you've been at the forefront of saying, guys, this stadium, when you're talking about hitting, it is as bad for hitters as beneficial as Colorado has been for hitters there. And I don't know if that gets in guys' heads or whatever. And I don't know if this group just said, F it, I'm going to go for it, and we're going to, whatever happens, happens. But you did mention the strikeouts. There's only 2 guys on their team who have more strikeouts than games played. And it always felt like there were a ton of guys that had more than, if a guy played 140, he'd have 160 strikeouts in the year. I mean, they've already got 5 guys who have a WAR of at least 1, which I know it doesn't sound, but what are we, 6 weeks into the season? Guys continue to build that number up. It means they're doing some things well. They're stealing bags. You mentioned about their on base percentage. Their OPS collectively is 755, which is great. They only have one guy who's truly, the 2 guys who are truly lighting it up when it comes to that, and it's Polanco and Cal Raleigh. But everybody else putting up solid numbers. And we've talked a couple of times. Like, at some point, is Jerry Dipoto going to pull the trigger and maybe help out one of the corner positions in the infield or something like that? We'll see. We'll see. I mean, once again, Dylan Moore he's been a godsend for them. He's been as good a utility guy as there's been in baseball.
Yeah, he has. And, we talk about them having a more balanced approach and, in a stadium like in Seattle where it is, difficult to see the ball. If you are trying to just hit homers, I mean, your body's moving a little bit more, your eyes are moving a little bit more. When you're trying to put the ball in play, you tend to eliminate that excess movement. Your head stays still, so you see the ball a little bit better. So walks are up, strikeouts are down. But the cool thing about all this is, Chris, they are still, since that time, again, I got it up on my Fangraphs page here, since August 1st of last year, they're still 6th in baseball in homers. So they're
Mm.
still getting that power while having better at bats. And like that's what happens. Like you'd be surprised when you get into a 2-strike approach, you can still click balls. And
Mm.
you can like so many times in my career I had that epiphany and then it kind of goes away. You forget about it. It's hard to be consistent with it, but your 2-strike approach does not limit your power as much as people think. And, I mean, this is kind of proof of it.
We'll leave it with this stat that the Mariners, after Dylan Moore's heroics, they now have 16 RBIs that either tied the game or put them ahead in the 8th inning or later. They are far and away the leader in that category this season. That came courtesy of MLB.com. So I thought that was a pretty big number. In the meantime, let's move across the country. Boston's big offseason pickup continues to pick up their offense.
Swinging a high fly ball left field, headed back toward the seats, and it is gone. He got the Plymouth Rock sign and a home run for Bregman, number 9. Yes, the 200th of his career as well. Oh, yeah.
And he is off to an incredible start. Of course, he signed that 3-year, $120 million deal with Boston that he can opt out after the first year. Do you think that the Red Sox would be wise to say, "Hey, dude, you want to talk extension? Let's get rid of those last 2 years of the contract and maybe make it a 5-year deal, 6-year deal."
I mean, I think that they have to do that or else he is going to test free agency again. I think if he continues on this path or even, close to it and just stays healthy, I think he's going to opt out. The next 2 years on his deal, there's a ton of deferred money, like 2/3 of the money is deferred, and it goes all the way until 2047, which is really crazy to think about, I guess, just in my head. He's had such a good year. I did not know he was 3-4-6ing it. 327, 401, 612. Like he's
Yep.
absolutely going off there. So he's a perfect fit in Boston. I'm sure he wants to be there. This is a guy with young kids. He wants stability. At this point in his career, he just wants to know where he's going to be so his family can set up shop, basically. Boston seems like a great place for him, but they have to go and offer him what he'd get in free agency. Like, I don't think he's gonna take a discount just to stay there. So yeah, the reports are, hey, he wants to get, what Chapman got, or maybe a little bit more than that, with the Giants. And again, that was an extension too. That wasn't him testing the free agent market, right? So that's the platform right there. That's the bar is Chapman. And I think they'd be wise to do it because I've said this before, Chris. Him his body to me feels like it's gonna hold up more
Mhm.
so than other guys' bodies, because he doesn't rely on necessarily, like, on physicality too much in his game. It's just he's different. He's a rat man. Like, he works hard, and I just think he's going to age better than other guys. So I think they'd be wise to do it.
They sure would be, but I don't think the Matt Chapman deal is necessarily going to get it done. First of all, when we talked about him, we there were a lot of people, including the two of us, that felt like he was going to be a perfect fit for that ballpark because of his swing plane, that he was just going to pepper that wall. Well, guess who leads the league in doubles after 6 weeks? Alex Bregman. And he's got 9 homers on top of his 15 doubles. So he is living up to that sort of deal. Um, I've got the third baseman contracts in front of me.
Okay.
So Machado's got the highest one. He's at another 11 years and 350. Remember, he opted out after 5, and then he got the new extension at age 30. So he was a year younger than Bregman is right now. Bregman just turned 31 at the end of March. Then Devers got his at age 26. Arenado 27, Rendon 29. That was the free agency deal for 245 million. How's that one? Suck on that one, Angels, for a while. The Riley deal is 212 at 25, and then you get Chapman, who last year signed his extension at exactly the same age as Alex Bregman. That was for 151 million.
6 years, 150?
It was 6 years, 151. I
Seems
don't
light.
think that
Jeez.
I got to be honest with you.
Seems
After,
light.
yeah, I don't think that that's going to get it done for Alex Bregman. I really don't. Remember, Detroit was right in the thick of this, and at the end, they made a good offer for them. But at the end, Boston's, I think, flexibility in letting him out after that first year and the fact that it was going to be an AAV of 40 million or whatever, however the math ended up working out. It's 3 for 120. So, forgive me on that, but that's what it was. Like, I could totally see a team like Philadelphia if they let Schwarber and they let Real Muto and they let Ranger Suarez and they don't offer Alec Boehm a contract. Like, I could totally see them, if they don't get to where they want to get this year, bringing him in.
I'm just trying to think. How many years of Story have left on his deal? Maybe like 2 more years, 3 more
Oh,
years?
I think it feels like more than that. Hold on,
More
let me
than
bring
that?
that up.
I'm
I
just trying
thought
to
he
think,
signed like a 7 or something,
in
6 or 7.
Boston's
6-year,
mind,
140. That's what he signed for in 2022. So he's
6
got
6 year
year
140,
140.
2026, you got 3 years left.
Yeah, he goes through 27, and then there's a team option in 28.
Okay. My thought process then would be, yes, he's a perfect fit in Boston, but Marcelo Meyer comes over, takes over at shortstop. Christian
Mhm.
Campbell is at second base. Trevor Story is what? Does he have to move to third base? Rafael Devers, first base, possibly. So maybe that's something that Boston has to think about, like, where is he gonna play? Like, obviously, you want him in there. He's the best option, but you do have these kids up that are making league minimum, and you can go out and spend that money elsewhere. Maybe they would allocate it towards their starting pitching staff. I don't know. It's interesting.
Sure. So this could end up being an Adrian Beltre. Remember when Beltre signed there for 1 year to kind of revamp his career? And what did he
Yeah,
do? He jump started the second half of his Hall of Fame career by signing with Texas and never looking back. I don't think that that's something that Boston wants to go through.
but again, like, what's the move then? Because those
Well,
guys are coming.
they are coming, but you're talking about making it work with Trevor Story for 1 more year after next season. I don't know, you could always trade him,
Yeah.
assuming that he doesn't have a no
No,
trade.
I think he should be in Boston. He fits perfectly there, but
I
obviously, yeah, you
agree.
mentioned the Phillies. There's other teams that would obviously covet his services.
Yes. What do you
But
think,
as
guys?
far as the deal, that's I didn't even really think about a deal like in the 200s, but yeah, maybe.
Well, I think he's pissed that he didn't get it originally, and I think that's probably still in play for him mentally.
Yeah. How long do you want to play? I always say that. Like, look, these guys, some guys don't want to sign a 10-year deal at age 30. They want to be like, I've made enough money. Give me 5 years, I'll be good, and then I'll go live my life.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
seems like I said before, he seems like a rat though. A guy that's gonna wanna play
He
till he's
does love
40
the
still. If
game.
he's looking for a deal like that,
Interesting.
gosh, he might get it. Dang.
Let us know. What do you think? Is it I mean, should the Red Sox offer him an extension? I think Trevor kind of laid it out perfectly what the young guys and some of them here and some knocking on the door. What do? Do you just let him walk after 1 year? Because he is going to opt out if he does not get an extension offer. Let us know how you think this plays out. Does he end up in Boston? Maybe a longer term deal? Does he end up elsewhere? Leave it in the comments. We always appreciate your thought. It's always good. All right, today's episode of Baseball Today, it is sponsored by Best Western Hotels and Resorts. Life's a trip, so why not make the most of it? With over 4,000 hotels worldwide, Best Western is there for every detour, destination, and unexpected turn along the way. So whether you're hitting the road, traveling for work, or chasing the next big game, there's a room waiting for you. But a great stay isn't just about rest, it's about what comes next. A great stay doesn't just help you recharge, it sets the tone for the early wake up, the late night arrival, or the last minute change of plans. So, Best Western, they get it. Traveling isn't one size fits all. It's for the planners and the procrastinators, the loyalty points collectors, and the I just booked it crowd. So, whether you're traveling solo, with your friends, or your entire roster, Best Western has you covered. Pack your bag, queue up the playlist, hit the road. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at bestwestern.com. We know our buddy Jack Doyle certainly has been making the best of it. Threw out a first pitch recently out in Arizona for a Diamondbacks game. He's doing it in the state of Kentucky as well. Now, I want to know, does he throw a real baseball and then does he throw a blitz ball like behind the back, or does he throw that knuckle drop, or what does he do?
I think he's just regular baseball. I've actually played catch with Jack before. He's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he
He's not
I
all
don't really
fun and
know.
games. Sometimes he locks it in, Chris.
Was he a high school pitcher?
No idea. I feel like he just was all of a sudden Jack Doyle. Like, I can't see him as a child.
I can't either. I can't
Is
either
that
because I
weird?
think he's had facial hair since he was 7.
He is maybe the most interesting person I've ever met, and I'm never gonna really get to know him, which is cool. I like that.
You like the mystery side of
Yeah,
it?
100%. Like, not it's not that I don't want to, it's that he just probably won't ever, like, let me in.
That's fair.
I do have a Bregman contract for you. I was just looking at his deal.
Okay.
26 and 27 are the options, player options.
Mhm.
41.6
Yep.
million a year, 20 of it in both years, 20 and 20 is deferred from 2037 to 2047. Crazy. Um, if they added on 2 more years at the same price and said, "No deferments, we're giving you the money straight up," that would put his deal after the 2024 season at right around 5 years, 200.
Wow, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal. And then you could be done playing or re-enter the market at 36 or be done.
The one thing we didn't even talk about with him is the guy's got 99 games worth of playoff experience. He's got 19 homers and OPS close to 800. He's a guy that has seen everything. He has played in multiple World Series. What he's played in 17, 21, 22, right? He got there weren't there 4 World Series that they were in? Oh, and 19. Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
So he's played in 4 World Series.
He has an 808 OPS after 2019. You know what happened then?
Yeah,
Um,
heard.
I believe it was closer to the nines before that. In the playoffs after 19, 760 OPS. So he's been okay. I just want to look.
Are you still looking?
Now I'm done.
Okay, good. A lot of interesting stuff there. Hey, a pair of guys that were traded for one another were busy getting it done for different New York teams.
And Juan hits one out to left field. That's it well. Back goes Gurriel. Takes a look, and it's out of here. Soto with his second of the game.
High drive, right field. Tatis back, turning, looking, see ya! A pinch hit, two-run home run for Grisham, and the game is tied at 3.
By the way, the little bat flip by Grisham.
He's
Yeah,
feeling it.
he is so feeling it right now. So he ended up tying the game, and then JC Escara, who's the remarkable backup catcher for the Yankees, his story, Uber driver, substitute teacher, independent ball player, hits the sac fly that ends up winning it. Soto's starting to get a little homer hot too, as he hits 2 in the Mets win out in Arizona. So we know that Trent Grisham is playing literally out of his mind. Like, he is putting up all-star numbers when he was going into the season as kind of a bit player at best for the Yankees. Do you think, even though he has played extremely well, that the Yankees sit there and Soto a one and done in the Bronx, that they regret making the Soto trade for him?
I don't think they regret it. You can obviously look at some of the guys they let go, like Michael King looks awesome, and they probably would really like to have him in the rotation, but they made it to the World Series, Chris, just like that. I don't think they regret it for 1 second. Not at all. So I kind of want to talk more about Grisham here because I feel like I've been in his shoes. I can tell the way he's feeling right now. He's showing up to the ballpark, feeling like he's going to impact the game. It's a great feeling to have. And I also feel like he's realized, wow, I can be a power hitter. Like, those are the swings he's taking right now. And I don't know if it was an approach thing early on in his career. Um, from my own experience, first couple years in the league, you're just trying to survive. He was obviously a great glove, so he focused on that early on. And
Mhm.
maybe being, you know, with the teams that he was with, they said, "Hey, let's be a defensive guy and let's, like, give some good at bats." Once you feel like you can go up there and take a hack and be successful, and he's 5'10", but he's 220. Like, this guy's strong as shit, Chris.
Yeah.
You can see when he's got thump in his bat. He's probably always had that, but he's been too scared to try to unleash it because the highest OPS he had with any significant playing time was 740. So he's been scared to try it. Now that he's unleashed, I don't think he's going back. I'm not saying he's gonna hit 40 homers a year, but I think he realizes now that he can take those swings and still be successful. And look, we might see a 30 homer season out of this guy. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Something he's done, and I don't know what it is. You would have to talk to him baseball wise, but his strikeout rate is down significantly. Like, when he was an everyday ball player in San Diego, basically 21, 22, 23, he was averaging roughly a strikeout per game. And now he's at 19 strikeouts through 31 games. Pretty solid for him.
Yeah.
I don't know what sort of adjustment he has made. Maybe Yankee fans can put it in the comment if you've heard, whether you've read a story or seen an interview or something like that. Now, I will say this: the previous 3 years, the best OPS he had over any of the previous 3 seasons, 22, 23, 24, was 675. That is below league average. So if I set the number 800, that he finishes the year with an OPS over 800. Do you think Yankee fans would take that from a guy with this sort of track record, or do you think that they'd be
Yes.
pissed?
No, no, no. Yes, they would take that. They would take that.
So you're saying the fall off is coming?
I don't think he's gonna be a one daughter. I mean, Chris, this guy is it's going nuts. I don't think he's gonna slug 640 on the season. His on base percentage career is 316. It's sitting at 376 right now. He's a career 217 hitter. He's sitting at 292 right now. There's going to be a little bit of adjustment from the league. There's going to be times where he's going to have to make an adjustment. I would say if I had to predict his OPS at the end of the season,
Mhm.
I'm curious, like if he starts to get, sheltered a little bit from certain at bats. Um, yeah, he's going to be in the eights. I think he will be. I think he will be. I think Yankee fans should be very happy with that.
Okay. Um, I guess I got to answer the question, which is no, the Yankees made the World Series last year. They knew there was a possibility of one and done. They did an awful lot to try and keep Juan Soto in the Bronx, and instead he went to Queens, and that's fine. And I think that actually has been great for baseball because the fan bases have gone back and forth. I can't wait till they play one another very soon. It's going to be an amazing series. It's going to be electric. And the fact that Grisham has played this well has just added another unexpected layer to the story
Yeah.
for us to follow, right? Because now you always do. I mean, every day on my timeline on Twitter, there are these side by sides. It's everything from games played to batting average to OPS plus. And, they highlight who's got the better number. And I've seen it several times, Grisham over here and Soto over there. And it's great. It's great fun. The other half of this is that Grisham is one of many veterans who've kind of had a bounce back first 6 weeks to the season, if you will. Give us one other guy that maybe baseball fans should be keeping their eye on if they have kind of not watched it all.
George Springer.
Hmm.
He is a guy that early on in his career was playing like what's a good term for that? A bat out of hell.
Hmm.
Like running all over the place, playing great defense, like huge power in his bat as well. I mean, he got hit almost 40 homers in 2019. Early on this year, I saw him make a play in right field. I highlighted it on Talking Baseball, like dove for a ball, held a run in, and just like, oh man, he looks healthy. He looks really good. Right now, 304, 405, 520 for the 925 OPS. Um, he's one of the few bright spots on that Toronto Blue Jays team right now. He looks really good, so I wanted to highlight him.
Yeah. As I mentioned, I had a really nice conversation with George. I hadn't seen him in a while. He was in a good spot, and he was hanging out with a bunch of the Blue Jays before BP. And Vlad was talking about how he was kind of in a strikeout rut, and Springer kept saying, "Dude, what are you worried about? It's May 7th. Like check at the end of the season. Go look up at the scoreboard at the end of the season." And he said, "I don't even look at that stuff right now. It's May." Found it really interesting.
Wait, I
Really,
got one
really
more.
interesting. Um,
I got one more, Chris. I'm sorry to cut you off. I didn't know this, but my buddy Tyler Heineman is
yes.
crushing the ball. I knew he was doing okay. I hadn't looked at his numbers. 406 on the
Yeah.
year through 32 at bats, and you know people need to give this guy some love. Lost his father last year.
Mhm.
Lost their childhood home in the Palisades fire. Like this guy's
Oh,
been through some
horrible.
shit as of late. So, and one of the good dudes in baseball. So shout out Tyler Heineman as well.
Um, So there's a bunch of ways I could have gone. Paul Goldschmidt, who kind of erupted the last 2 months of the season in St. Louis, has obviously had an incredible start with his new team in New York. Kodai Senga coming back from an injury lost 2024 to pitch the way that he has. Robbie Ray, who became the first Giant since Tim Lincecum in 2010 to start 5-0 through his first 8 starts of the year with an ERA of 2.84, which coincidentally was his exact ERA that he finished with the year he won a Cy Young Award. Keep an eye on that. But I am going to go with Gleyber Torres,
Yeah.
who when the Tigers signed him, I think to a 1-year, $15 million deal in the offseason, I was like, what the hell are y'all doing? Like, you're trying to improve your infield defense, and now you got a guy who's essentially coming off the worst year of his major league career. Well, I don't know if it's because he's been able to unleash the facial hair, which it took me a week to figure out who that was playing the Tigers uniform. I was like, "Who is that?" I have no idea. Gleyber Torres looks totally different with facial hair than without it. Totally different. And his game is back to being what we thought it was going to be when they traded for him as the number one prospect out of the Cubs organization. He's got an 820 OPS. He's got 4 steals as well, which ties his mark from all of last season. He's got a 137 OPS plus, which, if it stays at that rate, is going to be the best of his career. So, kudos to him and kudos to the Tigers, who knew something that a lot of us didn't know.
Javi Baez too. We didn't
Well,
even
Javi
mention him.
Baez, they were stuck with, and
I'm
so
just saying
that's
we
what.
didn't mention him. He's another veteran that's playing well.
Yes, he is a guy that we were very surprised that they didn't get rid of him and move on from, because they just did that with Kenta Maeda. They DFA'd him on a bad deal, but obviously this is significant deal. Baez, there you go. There's the Glaber.
It's always the eyebrows for me. I don't if that's a
Oh
design
yeah,
in his eyebrow.
wow.
I can see you doing that.
You know what? The eyebrows look evil, but the smile is calming.
That's like the Eric Hosmer effect. I feel like the same thing with him. He's got those. It's kind of like a pointier eyebrows, but a nice smile. Yeah.
That's funny. All right, let's move on. You know what? Why don't you give us a veteran that maybe we haven't paid close enough attention to, that has had a really nice bounce back here in 2025?
Byron Buxton.
Byron Buxton, is that what you said?
I did.
Yeah. Well, we always have to get a twin or two in every conversation. So yeah, but they deserve it. They've played
Yeah,
exceptionally
they're
well.
they're back.
They're back and they've played well, especially at home. And if they ever maybe play a team that's over 500, then we can really judge them. Let's continue on. I hate this story. Kris Bryant scheduled for back surgery today. He's having an ablation, which I didn't even know you could have on your back. That should alleviate some of the pain for the 33-year-old. They say that he should be able to resume baseball activities, but who knows? Backs are tricky. I can tell you that. How worried are you that he has played his last game as a Colorado Rocky?
I mean, he says he doesn't. He says he wants to continue playing. It's interesting because I saw one thing saying this is a
Evasive
invasive
surgery. Yeah.
surgery, and then his quote is, "It's pretty intense." And there's talking about some sort of you go in there and they go into the bone and try to kill the nerves to the vertebrae. That seems like it is intense and doesn't seem like it's so minimally invasive. But I guess the the bounce back period is short. I don't think he's played his last game. No, to tell you that, no, I don't think he has. It's been hard to follow the story because if you watch Kris Bryant play in Chicago, like he was a really fun player to watch, and then when he signed with the Rockies, it almost felt like he was going out to pasture, just kind of like taking the money and getting out of town. And it's been that way basically through injuries. But I still has many years left. I don't think we've seen him play his last game. No, this isn't like a Prince Fielder type
Right.
thing in Texas.
Yeah. I think that was his neck that cost him his career
Yeah.
there. Okay. So, yeah, I think he'll come back as long as the doctors get in there and they find what they find and not something else. I mean, it is a degeneration of discs, which I can tell you about. I can't tell you about being a pro athlete. I can tell you about disc degeneration and what it does to you and your body. Doesn't make you feel very good. Uh, Kris Bryant's 20 years younger than I am. He's also a remarkably skilled athlete. So hopefully he gets back out there fine. If it weren't for the Anthony Rendon contract in Anaheim, we would all be looking at this deal saying, what the hell was this organization doing? And I hate to even bring that up on a day that the guy is having surgery, but you can't help but do that story with him. What was it? 7 years for 182, I believe. This is the 9th time he's been on the injured list since 2020. 9 times. He has been limited to 170 games with this organization. That is less than a third of the games which the Rockies have played since they signed him to this deal. And when he has been out there, he just hasn't done it. 154 this year, 1 RBI, 13 strikeouts. I really see I you have a hard time remembering what made this guy the MVP because it has been so long since he had any semblance of what that player was like.
It's tough. He's played 170 games total through this contract. I just looked it up. 3 years, $81 million left on the contract. Yeah, it is a tough story. It really is. I mean, as tough as it can be, I mean, he's making a ton of money. So I don't feel too bad for him.
Right.
He's dealt with injuries. I get that sucks. But obviously the paycheck eases the pain a little bit. But yeah, look, I hope we get one more like bounce back season out of
Mhm.
him. We just talked about I don't know how many guys having bounce back seasons, like veteran bounce back seasons. He could do it.
You'd
I don't
be
know
more
what it would take. He's got a full no trade clause. I don't think they can trade him.
yeah.
But that
They're gonna
to
have to
me,
eat
a
this.
change of scenery would probably be it, you know?
I mean, so what would it take for us to open our eyes to a Chris Bryant season, a 25 homer season where he plays 100
Healthy, healthy to be honest. It's like seeing him play every single day, it would be enough, I think.
How often do we talk about we just did it earlier this show where we just throw out the money when talking about Alex Bregman and extending the deal, and why don't you add a couple more years and make it 5 for 200? Well, Chris Bryant is the perfect test case for why teams are reluctant to give out massive deals because, well, you can't just say,
Well, they take insurance out on these policies and, I think this is an extreme case.
it's not good.
No, it's not good.
I mean, the first thing when we bring up Chris Bryant's name 15 years from now, the first thing you're going to think about is being injured.
I don't know, maybe not. I might think MVP. I might think World Series champ. I mean,
Hmm.
that core of players in Chicago is pretty cool.
It was a great core. Remarkable.
I'd rather remember times like that, Chris. How about that?
Yeah, you're a positive guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you
I
think?
wish I made that much money.
Hell
Shoot.
yeah. And not played.
I think about that all the time. Like, why couldn't I just be like, just this much better? Like, that's all it was, Chris. I was so close.
Yeah, you were. But you know what? I'm thankful that you weren't because if you had made that much money,
I'd be gone.
you would not be doing this
I don't
show.
know what
So
I'd be doing, dude. Like
thank you for
farming
being
or
a team
something.
player here on
Yeah.
baseball today. You're awesome. Last thing before we get out of here. Aroldis Chapman has done it again. He throws the fastest pitch this season and fastest by a Red Sox in the StatCast era, 103.8 from the 37-year-old lefty. And then he stopped and stared. Should we make a bigger deal about his velo than we do?
I think we should make a bigger deal about like kind of the type of pitcher he's been. I mean, I've been in the box against this guy. I know there's off the field stuff that people like to bring
Yeah.
up every time we talk about him.
Yep.
Which, whatever. It's all true. Um, I think we should make a bigger deal about what a freak athlete this guy is. Like maybe one of the best athletes that's ever played the sport of baseball. Like his year that he's having right now is incredible, but like the way he can manipulate his body, how strong he is, the velo at this age, like it's been great. He's going to turn into one of those guys I say every year, give him a 1-year deal, he's gonna give you something. Um, he looks great. Yeah, I think we should be making more a bigger deal than we are. I said that he's gonna be closing games for the Red Sox, and people were laughing. Have you seen how he walks too many people? It's never gonna happen. Dude, let this guy like play for a team that's in it, or like, that he feels like he can contribute to wins towards a postseason, and you're gonna get this, and that's what's happened.
So he has the fastest pitch in the StatCast era at 105.8. That was in September of 2010. I mean, 105.8. But even last year, I remember he threw a pitch, it was 105.1. So that was as a 36-year-old. So the fact he's still doing this, we do just kind of gloss over it. And we're like, oh, yeah, Chapman threw another one 103 something. Once again, in the StatCast era, out of the I would say kind of the liberal top 10. It's more like top 12 because of ties. Chapman has 9 of the fastest pitches. Jordan Hicks has got a couple, and Ben Joyce got in there as well.
I'm
So
0 for
Chapman
3
basically owns it.
0 for 3 all time against Chapman. No strikeouts though.
Ooh.
Put the ball in play, baby.
Well, yeah, last night I think he gave up a homer. before he ended up throwing that BB. So
I was going to say something else, and now I forgot.
does it sound different?
Chapman?
Yeah, like the
Dude,
ball.
it's just like, a lot of arms and limbs coming at you. He's tall. He just gets down the mound. It looks like he's kind of like placing the ball in the catcher's glove. That's how it feels. Luckily for me, he was a lefty. Like that, I saw lefties better. If he was a right-hander throwing like that, I would have just taken my helmet off and said, "I'm good. I'm good."
I'll sit this one out. I'm good.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks. All right. You got places to be like the first tee. So let's get to it. We are back at it again on Friday. Tip of the cap to our awesome fill-in, Robbie Shiraka. He's not a fill-in. He's a producer. He is the lead producer
The
at John Boy Media.
producer.
So awesome work. Also, shout out to our intern Sawyer, who's graduating this weekend. A little bit more
Hey,
on
good
that
job,
tomorrow.
Sawyer. We love you so much. You're the
Yeah,
best
that's so
intern
sweet.
ever.
And also Dan Rourke, we will have him back early next week, and we cannot wait for that as well. For the uber talented Trevor Plouffe, I am Chris Rose. We will see you Friday here on Baseball Today.